Hey, what's been going on? I've been driving here for a couple hours. I just left Clayton, North Carolina, where our winter home is, and I'm headed down to Jimmy Weinert's training facility. Jimmy and I used to be teammates back in 76 and 77, Team Kawasaki, and I've seen him one time since then, but that's been years ago, and pretty stoked to see him again. We've been talking on the phone. Gonna come down here and shoot some video, but not only of his facility, but mostly for Luke Fauser. He's one of our top amateur riders, and you've seen him in my other videos. You know, we got him when he started on 65s, then to the 85s, and then last year he was on 125. He's gonna be on 125 again this year, still riding for KTM. And he's been doing really well all the way through, and especially on the 125 now, doing well. Won a bunch of championships at the Minios, and he's been staying at Weinert's. He came down last year just to have a place, you know, get out of Ohio and ride in the winter, and it's a good place to ride a lot. And Jimmy's got a group of guys there, and he puts them through, you know, riding days and training days, and they all combined them up. I mean, they're working hard. They're doing a lot of work, from what I can understand from Weinert and Luke so far. But yeah, we're going to catch up with him today. Luke has also been starting to ride the 250F because that's what he's going to be racing next year. So he's going to be riding that today, and I want to get his view on how it compares to the 125 that he's been riding a lot more, of course, but he's been riding the 250 now, 250F for for a while, several weeks anyway, on and off. So yeah, we're going to catch up with him today, and today I understand is going to be a turn track day. Jimmy says it's a good turn track, got a couple jumps in it, and has some rollers in it, so we're going to see how Luke feels and looks on that 250F. And of course, I'll be breaking it down and describing some of the techniques he's using. Well, we're here, Jimmy Weinert's training facility. Yeah, looks like the outdoor track is a little bit flooded, but we're going to be good, I guess, on the turn track. Yeah, well, I'm going to get in here and see where Luke is, park over there, and they should be about ready to ride. Supposed to start at 10 o'clock. Okay, this is the turn track I was talking about. There's Luke out there now. Give you a little view of what's going on. You can kind of see all the puddles. That's why they're riding the turn track today. Nice place, all sand, but not real deep sand, not like Florida sand. So yeah, they just started practice now, 10 o'clock, and going to get some close-ups throughout the day. They'll be riding till about 2:30, so it'll probably get pretty rough and rutted. Well, not real rough, because there's not that many bikes, but at least get some good ruts in it. See what Luke has to say about that 250F. Actually, I just heard he's talking about some body positions and movements. Luke is doing some demonstrating for the other riders. They're cutting the track over there and mostly working on this real fast sweeping corner. So he's kind of talking to the other guys of what he wants them to do. And of course, like I said, Luke is the demonstrator right now, but I'm sure he's going to get out there and ride with them too. Oh, he's stepping on the inside that time. This is Luke's friend, Paxton Lipinski. Pretty good. it is pretty deep ruts in them little bikes. Not bad. Is this guy number 45 again? Okay, this is Luke's friend again, Paxton Lipinski. We're going to look at his techniques, analyze him a little here. See, he has a lot of good techniques. He has good upper body movement. His body is loose so he can move his shoulders side to side. He has good vision, looking up ahead. He has his finger on the front brake and clutch, but his inside foot is still using the rear brake. He should be off of the rear brake by now so he can lean the bike over further. All he really needs now is a front brake at that point. Luke likes to do this corner standing up. And then he sat down in the middle there. That was good. Okay, now we're going to have a look at Luke's technique. Coming into the corner, he has good upper body movement. He's moving his shoulders side to side a little bit. It's hard to see, but he is. And he's looking up ahead. Now, it looks like he still has his foot on the rear brake, but he doesn't. It's just on the foot peg. Now he's depending on the front brake if he needs to slow down more. Of course, he's looking ahead. He has his finger on the front brake and the clutch. Okay, I'm going to have to tell Luke about short shifting that bike because he's revving it too much. Once you hit the rev limiter, the bike stops pulling, so he needs to either shift earlier or use taller gearing. I better run into this corner. Now you notice that Luke's coming into this corner like Paxton was, but he's getting his foot off of the rear brake and out for the corner early so he can lean over as far as he wants to. Now in this corner, he didn't anticipate how much that cushion was going to slow him down. It's soft in there, so he should have got on the clutch and throttle harder right there to carry his momentum through the corner. And that's the after effects of that little mistake, is stepping on the inside, but it was a good save. Didn't lose hardly any time on that one. Yes, like I said before, Luke's here to practice getting ready for Daytona. Tell you what, he couldn't be in a better place. I've talked about this many times in some of my other videos, but here you can really see it as Luke gets a little off balance, and notice how much he has to correct with his upper body movements from side to side. You don't hold the bike through the corners or anywhere for that matter. You balance the bike with your movements from the handlebars. Round and round the turn track. Short shift that thing. Ah, it's hitting the rev limiter. I don't like that. Needs to short shift it. I'm gonna have a look at this big corner here. There was outside cushion was good earlier, but I noticed Luke, it's getting kind of soft and you lose a lot of momentum in it, and the guys are starting to take the middle line here. It's a little slower right now because it's not broken in. Luke was doing the outside before and he was standing up all the way through it, but I noticed the last few laps he was starting to take this inside middle line. Okay, like I said, Today's turn track day. Here's another turn track. This one's a little drier, not so soft. But still sandy. Just giving you an overall view of it first. There's Jimmy over there on his mule. Where is he? He was over there. Oh yeah, there he is. I passed him up. Let's pick up Luke. Looks like he's standing a lot. The corners. Of course, you can see this track is a lot tighter. But man, it's good. Good practice. Good cornering practice. Throttle control, of course, through the corner. Using the brakes when he needs them. Stay in the rut. Because it's ruts like this, corners, especially ruts though, it's all about controlling your speed. I've said this before in my videos, but just to remind you, you've got to commit to a certain amount of lean. You have to lean the bike, commit to that lean, and then you have to control the speed to maintain that lean without falling to the inside and without going up out of the berm. That's why ruts take a long time to learn and get good at. There's a lot going on through a rut. Commit to the lean and control the speed to maintain that lean. Luke is making it look easy. It is not easy. I mean, after 4 days of non-stop riding and then a 5th day here, yeah, he's just tired. But it's still good practice because you ride when you're tired. It makes it that much better when you're fresh. That's what racing is all about. You have to coordinate your week. So race day is your best day. My race day video, what to do on race day from volume 1, video number 5, to explain a lot of that stuff. Of course, they're not racing on the weekend. If they were racing on the weekend, like tomorrow or Sunday, of course, their workout through the week would have been entirely different. This is like pre-season work, you know, this is off-season. Coming back into race season, and that's why they're riding so much, training so much right now. Build up a good strong base, conditioning, techniques on the bike, so when they get into race season, they don't have to work as hard during the week.
Here you can clearly see that Luke is off of the rear brake. He's just using the front brake and throttle to control his speed through these ruts. Now, if it was a left-hand corner, he could use the rear brake and front brake if he wanted to, because the rear brake would be on the outside. Okay, we're going to analyze Luke in this corner. See how his hips are a little bit to the inside. His head is turned to the inside, so he's looking ahead. It's important to understand that when you're standing through a corner, it's much different than sitting through a corner when you're relating to your body positioning. Okay, standing through the corner, you want your hips to the inside. They could be even more to the inside that Luke has right now. And when you do that, it's okay to twist your hips and shoulders out of the corner, which is the opposite of going when you're sitting down. And while you're doing that, you want to weight the inside foot peg more than the outside foot peg. You see, it's more important to get your weight low and on the inside when you're standing through a corner than it is to have your shoulders and hips facing into the corner. So it's totally different than sitting through a corner. It's very difficult to weight the outside foot peg going through a rutted corner while you're standing. Here you can see he's committed to the lean, and he's controlling that lean with the front brake and throttle. Of course, his body positions and movement as well. See how he's still looking ahead, And here, if you take a good look, you can see his finger is still on the front brake. And now he finally has committed to pulling the trigger to exit the corner, so to speak. So he finally releases the front brake. Here's another good example of moving your body from side to side. Right here, he's leaning too far to the inside for the speed he's going, so he has to get on the throttle as well as regain his balance by moving his body side to side on the bike. Easy fix. I just talked to Austin. He's the instructor for him here, and he's having them cut the track so they can work on this corner right here. It's kind of a contest to see who can lean over the furthest. Right before, just lately here, I've been recording. They were doing standing up drills. They could sit down on straightaways, but through the corners they had to stand up. That's why Luke was standing so much. But now they're doing it the regular way. Stand sit or whatever. Wow, that was good. That was really good. I think he's got the win so far with leaning over. Whoa! Okay, we got him rolling again. Austin had another talk with him. Everybody. Show you what Luke is doing through this corner. Notice the speed he's carrying before he even gets to the corner. He's already leaning over quite a bit, and there you can see he's leaning over even more as he enters the corner. Now he's going to be using the rear brake because this is a left-handed corner. The brake is on the outside, so he can use the rear brake, but he is also using the front brake a lot. Look how much the front forks are compressed. You see there he is using the rear brake. And here he's coming off the rear brake to get his foot back on the foot peg. He still has a finger on the front brake. He's got his knee close against the shroud. He's on the ball of his foot on the peg. And he's keeping the bike leaned over far as he exits the corner to set up for that next corner. Now we're going to compare that to Paxton. You see he's not leaning over as far coming into the corner, but he is using the front brake. You can see the forks are compressed somewhat. He was on the rear brake, and now he just came off the rear brake to get back on the foot peg. His finger is out on the front brake, but it's not using the front brake. And here, he does have his knee close against the shroud, his foot back on the foot peg, not quite on the ball of his foot, but he's making a mistake of not keeping the bike leaned over far enough to exit the corner so he doesn't set up right for the next line. Stood it up a little bit, didn't keep it leaned over far enough. These little guys, of course, aren't that experienced yet. Probably been riding a little while, but if you notice, they're not using the front or rear brakes. And if they are, they're not using them long enough, so they don't have good braking control. You can see on there, if you look closely, that they're not on the front brake or on the rear brake very long, and therefore they can't control once they start as far as their entry speed and the amount they're leaning. That's kind of a commitment that they make, but they can't adjust it as they go into and through the corner, so it's kind of like a hit and miss. If they want to be safe, they have to slow down a lot. If they try to go too fast, good chance of crashing. It's all about that braking control entering corners.
That's leaning over.
Yes, we're using Luke again because his technique is pretty much flawless. Here he's gripping the bike tight with his knees, keeping his legs where they need to be, using his core. Of course, he's using the rear. I don't know if he's using the rear brake. No, it doesn't look like he was, but he was using the front brake a lot to control that speed and lean. Right there, though, he leaned over too far. The dirt grabbed him, tried to pull him down to the inside. The way to correct that, of course, is to grab a handful of throttle, always controlling the speed. I'll tell you, for not using the front brake or rear brake very long, at least, into these corners, this little guy is really doing good. I mean, he's even pretty consistent with it. His body positioning and where he's looking ahead, you can tell he's looking ahead, is all good. If he would learn to use the front brake and rear brake in left-handed corners a little longer, I think he would be extremely good. Okay, you're going to hear proof that he's just using the front brake. You can hear it. And notice right here that he is not using the rear brake, of course, because it's on the inside. So yeah, just the front brake and throttle control through that right-handed corner.
They're finally coming in from a long ass day of riding. 20 after 3, 10 to 3 was on the docket today. I got tired of just standing out there watching you.
Yeah, we just got done riding some arena cross.
Oh yeah? Dried up enough to ride it, huh?
What's up?
It got dry enough to ride it?
Well, actually, the more we broke it in, the wetter, like the more sloppy it got, but it was fun.
Cool. Yeah. So what's on the docket now? What do you guys do now?
Wash our stuff, our bikes, stretching at 6:30, and yeah.
No more running?
No, not today.
So what's a normal week like here?
Well, Monday's pretty strong. We start off like with a workout in the morning, like a pretty good workout. Usually we run the machines in there, and then we'll ride all day, and then we'll just stretch at 6:30. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we run 3 miles, and we'll do like a smaller workout in the morning. And then Friday's usually just like a light day for the most part.
But you ride 5 days a week?
Yeah, but I take a day off in between.
Like Wednesday?
Yeah, like Wednesday. I only ride like 4 because 5 is a bit much.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Especially if you're riding as much as you did now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a lot.
Yep.
Somebody on the phone told me that, Jimmy told me you guys run 5 miles. So that I was thinking, man, that's a lot of running and riding.
Yeah, we've been just doing 3. I think Jimmy a couple of times wanted us to do 5, but we were like we're riding a lot, and 3's good.
Yeah, I would think.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, what do you think about this 250 now? You've been riding it for a little while.
Yeah, it's definitely a learning curve. It's a whole different thing, like just with the engine braking, how if you're in some gears it makes the suspension different, or if you're in like first gear and tight corners, the engine braking is just so much different to get used to, because obviously on a 2-stroke there's none. So
yeah.
And then it's especially hard, like I'm still getting used to the transition from, because I still ride 125, so I will ride my 125 2 days in a row, and then ride my 250 2 days in a row. So the first warm-up laps are definitely a little bit different, but yeah, usually by the end of the day I'm pretty comfortable, and I'm still just learning on this thing. And this is like I only have like 10 hours on it yet. So the suspension's just getting broken in, everything's getting broken in, and it's starting to get pretty good.
Yeah. So would you say that it just feels a lot different? Are the techniques that you use the same?
With the engine braking, it definitely changes it a little bit, because I have to come in a little bit faster so I can use my front brake through the corner, and I tend to use a little bit less back brake on the 250 just because that engine braking slows down so much. But
right.
Even like today, I realized that second gear in the corners is a lot better for me, it feels, because less engine braking, and I just feel a lot better.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so you're still learning on it, but
yeah,
you're looking good. You'll figure those things out.
Yeah, but usually just on the 250 every day, we're just learning and going faster and
I'll
faster.
tell you what, you're looking really good overall.
Thank you, Gary.
Yeah, looking good, man. Keep up the hard work. It will pay off.
Yeah. Yep, we've been working, grinding.